How many times have you kept yourself from posting because your visuals didn't look good enough? It's the same question that I ask myself a lot, and I wanted to stop making excuses for why I'm not putting anything out. Learn to wait for the right time. I've always been picky. I've always been critical. I've always been a perfectionist about my work because I want it to, there's an image that I have in my head that I want to portray in my work and do it perfectly, do it just right, and not release anything until that perfection has been met. And there's a healthy level of criticism for myself. Yes, I know I can't make trash things, but there's this level where it's almost 3 tiers of criticism, self-criticism, where divided into thirds. The bottom third is the trash third. Second third is the almost like the good enough third, and then there's the next third, which is the perfection third. A lot of people feel they've reached that in their own respects, but it's all up here. They spend the time on it, they spend years on it. They're like, oh, all right, it's perfect now. Let's put it out, and it takes them forever to get there. And that's not necessarily a problem, but I don't feel I want to spend all the time to reach that area. I'm learning to give that up. So I settle for that second third, the good enough second third, where I like or I love what it is. I know it could be better, but I think it is perfectly fine where it's at, and that good enough second third will always eventually lean into that perfection third naturally. But what I won't do is settle for that trash first third. I know there's a big difference between the two. After working on my craft for so long, that I'll never settle for the trash third, but I know that my good enough third will either never or rarely reach that perfection third. I hope to and aspire to get there eventually, but I've got to stop saying no to my good enough third to reach the perfection third, because I don't think I'll ever reach it. I think that's just a race that I'll never win, and I have to let it go. But my worry is that I'll never put anything out if I don't allow myself to let go of my own self-criticism, and that is hard. And I really just want to let go of my own criticism. And ideally for me, I want my surroundings to look good. That's just not a luxury that I have right now, and I will do my best to work with resources that I have to make what I have around me look as best as possible. And I got to a point where I just didn't want to make any more excuses. I didn't want my content to be put on pause just because it doesn't look right, or just because I'm not where I want to be, or because really any other reason. There's people out there that are waiting for my insight, that are waiting for somebody like me to post. And as much as I keep myself from posting, the only way I'll get from here to there being where I want to be, is by just doing it. And granted, I've been in a very terrible emotional place for a long time. It's been about 9 months, a little less than that. And I've just been drowning in my sorrow, drowning. Why does this have to happen like this? I've had a lot of things happen. And if you'll notice from my other videos, I had a whole setup. I had a backdrop, had special lighting, which some of the lighting I still have, but I had the chair that I wanted, the desk that I wanted, and I really liked what I had. What I didn't have was time. I was working a full-time job, and I didn't really have the time to spend on fine-tuning or even just purely working on what I wanted to work on. And I have that time now. Granted, I'm drowning in debt, drowning in not being able to pay my bills, but I'm thankful that I'm able to focus more on what I want to do despite the drowning. And I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to have this extra time, regardless of any consequences I might be meeting. And I want to make more content, and I want to just freely put my ideas into something that can really create that area of, or that flow of revenue for me that is strictly me. And I want to feel the support from people. I don't like being held down. I don't like rules. I just want to freely create and get paid for it. And that's not something that comes easy. I also have to show people what I can do, and I'm in the process of building something that shows people what I can do. But it's it's just, overall, it's not easy. And not being able to pay my bills is not something I've ever wanted to make a regular thing for myself. But there's this season of waiting for me that's painful in many different respects. And I have to learn to be patient, learn to have faith that things will work out as they're supposed to. Surrender my wants for what might happen that's out of my control. And I have to put what I know out there and see what happens, regardless of my own judgment. I want this to happen for me, but it's been hard, and I'm doing my best to be okay mentally to even work on these things. I'm working on music the most right now, and I eventually want to make music videos for those things, and I want to do it in a professional fashion that will rise above the tides. But for now, this is all I got. I'm working on more, and it'll come, but I have so much on my mind, so many things I want to do. And even with the time that I do have, it'll still take more time. And you'll see how much time I'm spending with music. And I use FL Studio for music, and actually, I don't think a lot of people know this, but FL Studio in your projects actually records how much time you spend on your projects. So I'm recording those as well. And I want people to know what it is exactly that I do. I'm a multifaceted, multidisciplinary artist, creative. If you want to support me, I want to fine-tune all of my support channels into one website, or web page at least. I'm working on a page for the DigiGang, which is my audience, that will have all of the methods in it that will provide support for me, short-term, long-term, descriptions, yada yada, and other methods of ways that you can join the DigiGang and be a unified front, and what DigiGang really means. So until then, I have a Patreon you can join, and I have a Discord you can join as well. All right now exist on my business front, which is on jdigital.us. So visit that for any links and details. Expect more from me in the coming weeks and months. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, following, subscribing, all the above. But again, thank you. See you in the next one.